took her own turn. So many regrets, so many mistakes.
But I want to stay with you, Daddy.
And then it happened. And I never even saw it coming.
What beat? What are you hauling?
Nothing, man.
Why would you have to go through all that? You're just hauling nothing.
Just for once, wanted to do the right thing.
We want to thank you for helping us.
You want to be here.
I want to be a singer, like Taylor Swift. You like Taylor Swift?
No. Did I fail them?
That's all. There's no lock, huh?
Did I do what needed to be done?
Hey, the girls, where are you taking?
It's not your problem. Happy trails.
You obviously know something about this. Then help me.
If you're hearing a little voice that's telling you to stay, that there's a larger hand at play here, then you might want to listen to that voice.
These girls don't belong to you.
Those girls don't belong to anyone.
You go down this road, you can't go back to normal life again.
There's some bad dudes who are gonna kill me.
My friendship comes at a cost.
This is not what love looks like.
I want to shut this thing down.
I see you dressed in white.
How could you just leave us?
But you have to trust me.
That war is broken for you.
I'm gonna make this right.
Your success, your comfort. Live free, let the light flood into your eyes for the very first time, feeling the blood coursing through your veins, finding the truest version of yourself. Love strong, because you were first loved, because without love we perish, because the earth and the stars can and will pass away, but love celebrate recovery. Love will always remain.
Would you leave or would you stay? The coming of the misery you cherish dearly. You cherish dearly. You haven't started dreaming cause you're still fast asleep. You're fast asleep.
Don't you wanna run wild, live free, and love strong? You're a lion full of power, forgot how to roar. Shine! You're an eagle full of beauty, but you can't seem to soar. No. We return to the garden where you were first before. Oh, oh. We turn to the one who can liberate your soul. Run wild, live free, and love strong. You and me, run wild. Well, what a pleasure to be back with you once again. See ya! Hey, this is the summer celebration, so let me see you clap those hands, do a little dance. This is for you, Cindy Watts.
Always on the side of the highway with the storm in the sky. The war is flying in the fast lane. Zoom inside. Whoa, oh, oh. Something's crashing in the ocean, but you just can't help yourself. The ones that we all forget. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. Every day I find it's a fine, fine life. Yeah, fell asleep in Tennessee. Should have seen her face. Feels like I'm stuck in a movie that was never played. She's a stranger with that child, and he's breathing ears to ear and whispering these words I'm keeping. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. Every day I find it's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. Yeah, put a step in your bones. You're never alone. Cash or gold, hot or slow. Finish up the rest. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you're not already, you think, would you stand with us? I have an idea. Let's bring it down a bit, boys. Everybody get low. How low can we go? Hold it right there. On the count of three, I want to see everybody jumping. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, jump! It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. Every day I find it's a fine, fine life. It's a fine,
wandering, so down and out. I was lost, not found. History said, someone said that you would never exist. Then a whisper, sort of a kiss. Every song I can hear the best. Hanging on to hope by a thread. To the soulful heart open home phone. Keep on charging your head. Hands up, cause once you see it, once you know that, that you know that it's something. When you feel it, once you see it, and you breathe it, it's something. Once you know that, once you know that, that you know that it's something. Fourth or fifth consecutive year at Celebrate Recovery is, and there are these very, very rare moments where sometimes you don't feel like you're putting on a concert for those in the audience, but you just look out in the audience and you're like, man, I'm more blessed by you than you by me right now. So thank you. You guys are heroes. Before we go any further, I want to recognize John Baker and Marnie and the whole Celebrate Recovery team. Can we give them a round of applause? Great people. And we are originally from, we're not from Boston. It's happened. You know, we're not from Britain, actually. We are from the land down under, from Australia. And we live right here in the good old South, in Nashville, Tennessee now. Yeah, man. Yeehaw! That's right. And as a result, we have girlfriends, we have wives, we have a record label, we have publicity, publishers, we have our booking agent, you name it, they're here. Some of the most loved people by us, both family and creative partners as well. So could you give them one more round of applause? How many of you have actually joined us for a King Country show before? Let's just see those hands. Legends. All right, be honest. Make some noise. If you're slightly confused and this is your first time ever with us tonight. Some of you are like, me? Okay, let me explain a few things here. Now we've figured out our origin, where we're from. There's another confusing part to this, all right? See, we live in Nashville. Nashville's the country music capital of the United States. Does anyone love country music? Love country music. We have country in our band name. We're not a country band. Okay, very far from it. Some of you are scratching your head like, man, I thought I was coming to a country show now. Yeehaw! Just kidding. Why not? No, we've been a band for 6 years, and one of the questions we get asked a lot is, what does those 4 words, that phrase for King Country, what does it mean to you? And I have to say, it has a lot of heart for us. It's not just 4 words. Some of you know that hundreds of years ago, soldiers were charging in to battle, to stand for something greater than themselves, to bleed for what they believed. They would huddle and they would chant for King and Country, for King and Country. And we thought as young men and as musicians in life, what better name to be known by than for King and Country. Hey, welcome back to the stage, my little big brother Luke, right here. Yeah. He outgrew me by about 4 inches, much to my chagrin. I have a problem, little brother. Yeah. I have a problem.
Yeah, you've got a few of those.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. He's nice. He's a nice bloke, isn't he? Let's see, look, I feel so connected to all you fine folks down the front. Oh, the guys up in the balcony. These guys around the back there in the corners. We see you back there. There's just a bit of a distance between us.
Yeah. Technology is on our side. There's no reason why we can't just go out and sing.
We've got wireless
up there with
those. I'm gonna try and make my way up to the top. Get your work on. Hey, I want you to welcome the fine chaps on stage with us one by one. This is Mark Campbell on electric guitar. His wife Kate on the keyboards. Teddy Bolt, Mrs. Bolt is in the audience tonight as well on the snare drum. He's on the snare drum, not her. Vincent DiCarlo is on cello right here, ladies and gentlemen, the Sicilian. And looking very Amish tonight. He lives in Hendersonville, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stephen Asbury Lynch right here. Yep. And a great alliteration for a name, the Louisiana boy, Benjamin Bartholomew Backus right here. Yeah, directly behind us on drums for this one. This is with the light of God shining upon him. This is Daniel Levi Jones, ladies and gentlemen. His girlfriend Gabby's with us. He's going to start a song called It's Not Over Yet, because the night has just begun, my friends. Let me see you up on your feet for this one, if I could. Go come down here. Inside your head, you got a voice that says you won't get past this one. You won't win your freedom. Here we go. It's like a cozy war. If you want to see the last one, put your feels down, please. Let me feel the beat. This goes out to the movies. Play it, Vincent. I'm coming up! Oh, so everyone sit there in bed. Stand on your head. Stand on your head. Even when you think you're finished. Stand on your head. Stand on your head. On the fire ship. I didn't look into the light. So here's the fire ship. Never give in, never give up. Let's go! Shut that to us. Hang on, let me get up these stairs. Get up these stairs real quick. Here I am, I made it! Sounds good in your heart. It's protection season. Only the only party. She's so brand new, follow. Everybody breathing. To live a life full of freedom.
stuff right there. All right, so I'll take you back a few years. The very first time we ever played a Celebrate Recovery conference, I was up on stage, and something explosive took place. And I literally, the whole, you guys can take a seat if you'd like. The whole show, I was sitting there going, what is going on here? These people are the greatest people ever. And I walked off stage and I went to one of the leaders. I was like, man, what just happened out there? Like, I'm a little confused. Like, that was like fire out there. And he came up to me and was like, man, every one of your songs is like a recovery song. We were going crazy for it up on there. So it is a privilege for us to be here. We come back every year because we just love you guys, and you're so kind and gracious for always having us back. But we love what this event stands for. It stands for hope. It stands for hope across America. So we appreciate you guys, and we're very, very grateful to be here. But as Joel mentioned, we live here in Nashville. I actually live in a tiny little town called Columbia, Tennessee, that somehow is an hour and a half away from here. And with traffic, it's 2 hours. But we still kind of live in Nashville, and my wife and I, we have 3 kids. We got, oh, people love kids here. I like that. I like that. We got 3 kids. My oldest is 5. My middle boy is 3, and then we have a new little guy named Leo, and he's 11 months old. Yes. Our 2 oldest boys are here tonight, but our little boy Leo is a very, very special boy. It was several months ago. We were at home, and my wife put my son down for a nap, just like every day, like she normally would. And she went out to the porch, and she had a cup of coffee, and very quickly after, she had just sat down. She's like, I think I need to go check on Leo. Maybe just a few minutes had gone by. And she went into the room, and she found my son upside down, and he wasn't breathing, and he had blood coming out of his nose. She picked him up. She ran outside. I was on the mower, and she just was screaming, call the ambulance, it's Leo, he's not breathing. And so I jumped off the mower and ran very quickly inside, and I called 911, and I get a hold of the emergency services, and I say, hey, it's my son, I need an ambulance here as quickly as possible. He's not breathing, he's blue, and we need somebody here just as quickly as possible. And the gentleman on the other line said, yeah, we're on our way, we'll be there in 6 or 7 minutes. And I just thought to myself that that's just far, far too long in that moment. And so I run outside, and my wife has my son on the gravel on the driveway so that he should be as close to the ambulance as possible. And I look down on my son, and he's blue, he's not breathing, blood coming out of his nose, and he's getting cold. And we started, I had no idea what to do. I was so paralyzed by this moment. It felt like I was watching my own movie. And my wife just starts praying these amazing prayers. She says, in the name of Jesus, you bring back my boy. In the name of Jesus, you put air into his lungs. In the name of Jesus, you bring back my boy. And about 30 seconds went by, and she just kept praying this prayer. I was looking down at my son, and I'm sitting there going, I gotta confess. And I thought, honey, he's dead. He's not coming back. And just a short while later, my son goes, oh. And so sure enough, the ambulance comes, and they whisk him off to Vanderbilt Hospital here. And they had him in the ICU, and I trailed the ambulance by a few minutes, and on the way there, it was one of the loneliest drives I'd ever experienced. I wasn't sure if my son had some sort of disease. I wasn't sure if he was sick. I wasn't sure if he was partially brain dead. And so I just kept praying, God, give me a sign that my son is going to be okay. Just give me something to know that he's going to be all right. And so I get to the ICU, and they've got my boy on this massive bed. And there's my tiny little Leo with all these wires hooked up to him. And I get in there, and I look at him, and I say, Leo, is Daddy here? Are you okay? And he looks up at me, and he smiles. I just thought that was the way God said, you got your son back. And For me, my wife and I were very rattled from that experience, and we went back to our home, and when I arrived at the house, there was still that blood on that bed there, and you have to reconcile some of these very traumatic things that have taken place, like I'm sure has happened to so many of you here tonight. And for me to be able to process correctly, I have to go to the nth degree. And so I just started calling out to God and saying, God, why did you save my son? I'm so grateful, but why? Why did this happen? Why did I walk through this? And for some of you here tonight, it probably doesn't even seem fair, because for some of you here tonight, you probably lost a child. And so I said, God, why did you save my son? And when you pray these unfiltered prayers, God does something so special. He doesn't always answer in the way that we think he's going to answer, or maybe not even the timing. But he hears our prayers, and he loves it when we're honest. And so I just felt very, very clearly, God said, Luke, no matter if I take your son, no matter if I take your health, your possessions, everything that you have, I'm still faithful to you. I'm still faithful to the broken. I'm still faithful. I'm still here to the hurting. I was thinking today, as I was outside, I remember looking at the area, and I thought to myself, I don't want to relive those moments. But what I do want to relive is the miracle that Jesus said, you can have your son back. So many people don't get to witness miracles. I got to witness one. And so many of you here are all walking miracles. And I hope that you know that. I hope you don't just breeze by the fact that something amazing has taken place in each one of your lives. And so this next song is a brand new song. We don't know or understand why some of these things happen in our lives, but God only knows these things. This is a brand new song.
Nobody sees, nobody won't believe. Every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories they somehow never leave you. Nobody sees, nobody won't believe. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. You keep a cover over every single secret. So afraid of someone so that they would leave. Somebody sees. Somebody will never leave. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love.
lost someone I love. And I'm struggling with addiction. And I'm so lonely I could die.
Don't ever see it, 'cause I know it's true. Lately I've been watching the nightly news, can't seem to find the rhythm, just wanna sing the blues. Feels like a song that never stops, feels like it's never gonna. Gotta get that fire back in my bones before my heart turns into stone. So somebody please pass the megaphone, shout it on the count of 3. Ocean, I pray tonight, I'm singing to the sky. Give me strength to raise my voice, let me testify. Ocean, I pray tonight, 'cause this is do or die. The time has come to make a choice, and I choose to feels like it's never gonna. Gotta get that fire back in my bones before my heart turns into stone. So somebody please pass the megaphone, I'll shout it on the count of 3. I'm singing to the sky. Give me strength to raise my voice, let me testify. I pray tonight, 'cause this is do or die. The time has come to make a choice, and I choose to. Down in my heart to stay. I need the joy, down in my heart to
You believe it,
stay.
sing.
I need the joy, down in my heart to stay. I need the joy, down in my heart to stay.
And she's, you know, that last song, Joy, that's one of the latest songs we've released. And just thank you for dancing and singing along. She's a Hispanic woman, and so there's 17 Hispanics here tonight. So she's Hispanic, she knows how to move and groove. I am a rhythmless Australian. But we're still trying to interject these grooves into the new record. I have to say though, the other day, my wife and my parents-in-law were waiting for a table at a restaurant, and my father-in-law is a judge, like the robe puts you in prison type. Yes, you can imagine dating a judge's daughter. If you've ever, if anyone's ever dated a judge's daughter, you know what I mean. It's very frightening. So we're waiting for the dinner table, and they said, well, look, you've got this new song, Joy. It's kind of got this samba, salsa rhythm to it. You should learn how to salsa, which I've been putting off for 34 years. And so first it starts with Mariah. She's like, move your hips. Not your hands, Joel. Move your hips. No, not working. Then my mother-in-law comes over. She starts trying. Then my mother-in-law is sort of like, oh dear. Then the judge comes over. They all failed, my friends. And it's not them, it's me. But nonetheless, I will still move joyously. How about that? Thank you. No, we are very thrilled though, because two of the three last songs we played for you are brand new songs, and literally as of tomorrow morning, we are sending in the record to be mastered. It will be complete, and it's coming out on October 5th, so keep an eye on that. And we're releasing one song a month, and so it's very exciting. And I have to say this, you all, and our time with you each year, and Luke touched on it earlier a bit as well, it has been really impacting to the way we write music. And a lot of the songs, particularly even on this new record, for me personally, have been songs about redemption, about recovery, and we're on that journey. Ladies, let me hear you. Let me hear you. That goes down as the loudest ladies of cheer I've ever gotten on stage. So I think I might have shared this last year, but about a year ago, a little over, I got sworn in as a United States citizen. And I'm very proud. And I found myself, even in the last years when writing this record, I found myself really caring deeply for America, for its people, for the future. And I've noticed a few things, particularly this year, and I want to share them with us tonight before we close our time, starting with you ladies here this evening. Girls, it seems as though there is a looming question above your head in 2018, and that is this. Where do you find your self-worth? Is it in your form, your figure, your face, the man on your arm, your success, or is it in something else? And I want to say this, ladies, I want to say this to you, and I want you to pass it on to your groups as well. And I don't say it on my own authority, I say it on someone so much greater. It does not matter what has been said to you. It doesn't matter what has been done to you. It does not matter what ideology society tries to impress upon you. These are the facts. Out of 7 billion people on the face of this planet, there is one you. You are unique. You are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. Luke and I had the idea a few years ago. We brought over a load of Australian 1-cent coins and framed them, made necklaces out of them, and it's come to be known as the priceless necklace. And it stands as a reminder to us that you girls are worth more than all the money in the world. In fact, my dear on the corner here, I want to give this to you tonight. And we've got a few of them here this evening. I encourage you to pick one of them up for yourself or for a friend or for someone in your group. We've literally seen upwards of 500,000 men and women, boys and girls rally around this cause as girls saying, I know what I'm worth. I know that I deserve to be treated like a princess, that I'm priceless. Men, you've got a lot to compete with, but on the count of three, give me a big yeah. 1, 2, 3. Fellas, I believe there are great men in this room. And I believe each of us has a responsibility. You just have to look at news headlines. And it seems as though there is so much in modern technology that they're all wonderful things in a sense, but so much trying to shift, trying to distort, trying to change the way we perceive a woman. And again, news headlines, you see men, whether it's actors or news anchors or politicians, you name it, men that have said or done things to women that will break your heart. You have to look at the reality of human trafficking, which many of you know is the epidemic of our age, and it is so successful that if trends continue, will overtake the drug cartel as the largest illegal industry on the face of this planet. And like any thriving business, it works on supply and demand, and by and large, men, we are the demand. But I believe there are great men in this room, and I believe we fellas, I believe more than about any crowd I've spoken to, I believe we can change the headline. And I believe that you can spread out over this great eastern portion of this country and take a message with you. And that is this. We can change the headline. When people look at you and they look at us, they'll say, there, did you see that? Did you see the way he loved her? Did you see how he served her? Did you see how committed he was to her? Chivalry is alive and well because of these men right here. I know many of you know this. And it's hard to say, but it begs to be said, and I charge you to, as leaders, to say it to your groups. I believe the greatest thing we can do for our mums, our daughters, our sisters, our wives, our girlfriends, maybe even the greatest thing we can do for social justice in America and around the world is to stop looking at pornography. As you saw right before we stepped on stage, Luke and I were very fortunate to be involved with a feature-length film released through Universal Studios last year. It's a love story drama. I was one of the actors and he was one of the producers. And in the middle of making that picture, we were so impacted by this message that we wrote a song that we want to share with you tonight that goes under the same title as the film, Priceless.
Let me tell you a story. A year ago, I met a woman. She'd been lied to, and men decided she was worth a certain price.
I see you dressed in red, every wrong made right. I see rose in bloom at the sight of you. You're irreplaceable, unmistakable, incomparable. It's all in its beauty. voice, a hollow noise. If I speak with a silver tongue, convince the crowd, but don't have the love I leave. I'll be in a taste with every word I say. So let my life be the proof of your love. Let my love look like you and what you're made of. How you lived, how you died, love is sacrifice. So let my life be the proof of your love. To me, so don't have love, and who's for it seems all poverty is found in me. So let my life be the proof of your love. Let my love look like you and what you're made of. How you lived, how you died, love is sacrifice. So let my life be the proof of your love. When it's all said and done, when we sing the final song, only love remains. Only love remains.
And if I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy but don't love, I'm nothing but the creaking of a rusty gate. And if I speak God's word with power, revealing all of his mysteries and making everything as plain as day about faith, you say to a mountain, jump, and it jumps, but I don't love, I'm nothing. If I give all I own to the poor, or even go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've got nowhere. So, no matter what we say, no matter what we believe, no matter what we do, we're bankrupt without love. If you believe that tonight, would you stand to your feet and sing this chorus?
So let my life be the proof of your love. Your love, let my life be the
to honor him. When we smiled at me, being not strong.
God bless you all, you are our heroes. Until we meet again, good night, friends.
let's sing about it. You are the Word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. In glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is.
bold, audacious, recklessly daring, valiant, lion-hearted. And grace is the greatest brave. This doesn't sound like me most days. In fact, on given days, sometimes I feel just barely saved. I get up and life is a war. A battlefield of blazing swords, swiftly swerving through the sultry air. Nothing that comes my way seems fair. And at the end of the day, the last thing I want to give is grace. It would take everything out of me, and I don't have it in me. These battles raging against me look like loved ones constantly hurting me, throwing words of hurt at me, knowing what they do to me, like a sword of heartbreak constantly stabbing me. These battles look like people holding against me things that I used to be, refusing to forgive me, though I know I've said I'm sorry. These battles look like people persistently trying to persuade me that I'm failing, consistently trying to tear down all that I've achieved. One day they say this, but one day they say that. I can't tell anymore who's being real with me. These battles look like gossip. These battles look like rumors. These battles look like enemies and accusers. But they also look like my family. They look like my best friends. They look like my church. They look like the ones I love the most. And this is why it hurts so much, as this battle never seems to end. And I get why they say that grace is the greatest brave, because giving grace doesn't come easily. It doesn't feel very natural. It is taking every gut and every muscle out of me to give it, to show courage, to be fearless, bold, audacious, recklessly daring, valiant, lion-hearted. Is it even possible to do it? It is. And Jesus proved it. I remember what he did when I was the one warring against him, when I was the one throwing swords, when I was the one living for myself and worshiping the world. I used to do things to him that people used to do to me. I would tell him I loved him, promise things to him, and then I'd break those vows repeatedly. I'd represent him when I wanted, then turn my back when I felt it was warranted. And I took, and I took, and I took from him, and then blamed him when he didn't give me the next thing I demanded. I lied to him, I cursed at him, I made fun of him, and yet all his grace, he still gave it. He was courageous enough to take it, all our disgustingness, and carry it onto a cross. He died with it. The ultimate form of bravery, he was it. He gave us a second chance, even though we didn't deserve it. For no matter how hurtful the world was being, he believed we were still worth it. He says, my grace is sufficient for all of you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. And that cannot be more true. I am weak. I am unworthy. I don't want to forgive or love anyone who has hurt me. But his grace is enough for all of me. And when I pass that grace on, it is him being made strong inside of me. So I can be brave because Jesus Christ was brave. And I sure am glad that someone once thought to give me grace. He takes our weak arms and gives them muscles far beyond us. He takes our frail lives and makes heroes out of us. He takes our dirt and makes a garden out of us. And with all that he has given us, with how much he has equipped us, he says, I geared you up. Now you go and be courageous. Because church, we don't get the luxury of looking like Jesus and holding on to our hurts and our hate. We don't get to say that we follow Jesus and then hoard to ourselves what he so freely gave. We don't get to condemn a world that Jesus died to save. He says, come, be brave. I did not come to save you of all your sins so that you could just stay the same. Grace restores Everyone has to be brave enough to give it.